What's going on there, guys? Mike here, coming at you from Badlands Paintball. We've been getting more and more requests lately on our Facebook and on our YouTube page for all sorts of videos. Recently, we did get a request to actually take a look at the TiPX and see how to install the remote line adapter in that particular pistol. Now, we have a few TiPXs that we've been demoing at all of our big games that we've been attending, and actually we had some requests out there as well to get remote lines in those. So we're actually going to get our tech Mason here today. He's going to install a few of those remote lines for you guys, the remote line adapters I should say, so you guys can see how it's done. He's going to take it nice and slow, nice and easy for you guys so we can all understand it. I'm sure we can count on Mason for this one. So let's take a little bit of a closer look, and he's going to show you how to install those remote line adapters.
I have here a Tippmann TiPX, and we are going to install the remote line adapter kit on it, which will allow us to hook a remote line to the back of the marker and run with high pressure air as opposed to having to change out our 12 grams every roughly 25 shots. So let's have a look at the remote line adapter. First of all, it's a fairly simple piece. Now these are the new ones from Tippmann. They're not like the ones that came for the original TiPX that had another adapter piece that had to go in here and replace another one. These are all you need for the TiPXs. If you have an original TiPX, there is another piece that you require, and you will be able to contact Tippmann about that. And they will be able to direct you as to how to get that. The way you tell if you have an original TiPX or a TiPX quite easily is you look right here, and if you see a little I between the T and the P, you have a TiPX, and you do not need to worry about the original one. But I digress. Let us get to the matter at hand and start doing our install. First things first, of course, we're going to check to make sure that we do not have any CO2 in our marker. You look down there, you can tell there's nothing. We're also going to pop out the magazine, no ammunition there, and of course, none in the chamber. Now, a little trick that the fellows at Tippmann showed me to help make this easier is you take this center body screw out first. It does come out. And what you do is you actually put it back in from the other side. What this will do is it'll hold the firing chamber in place and prevent the bolt spring from causing everything to just shoot out all crazy like. So now that we have that in, we can remove our other body screws. I'm still here, analog. Oh. All right, now let's see how we do here. Pop the shell apart. Gently. And there we go. This is the guts of a Tippmann TiPX rather. Now as you can see, this piece right here is going to thread into this block here. Now this block, as I had mentioned earlier in the original TiPXs, was completely removable, and it slotted into this, and then when you got the remote line adapter kit, there was another piece that went here. Now, with the TiPX and the new remote adapter kits, you don't get that. And you don't need to worry about it. You just pull out a screw and away you go. However, first things first, we also have to remove this little block, this little plug right here, which is where my punch and my hammer come into play. Not very often do we get to use a hammer when we're working with paintball markers, but today is the day. You don't need a lot of force to get this out. Let's bring this up here where you guys can see. So we're just going to give it a tap. There, and there, and there. And it pops right out. Now, I don't know if you can make it out, but anyway, in there are, some little remnants of the plug. So we have a file here. It's got a rounded face to it, and I'm just going to clean out the space where I have done that. I'm going to be careful because I don't want to get filings into the marker. There we are. And we'll just drop this in here, see how it fits. Now it is going to thread a little bit into the plastic. Just going to make sure it goes without incident before we put this back together. May need to have a little bit of encouragement. Again, the hammer. Nothing too forceful. There we are. So that's in there. We know that works. And the plug in the back here is what you need to remove. Oh, and the safety apparently. Not really. There. So taking the same Allen key that you use to pull the body screws out, it's 1/8 Imperial, because America. Just gonna, there we are. Pop that out of there. We know that works, so now we're just gonna put the shell back together. Make sure we have everything in place, including, and especially, if you can see it, there's a little clear jewel right there that allows you to see down into the firing chamber. Now this is, as I said, very small and it's clear, so it's easy to miss it. These fall out on 90% of the TiPXs that I pull apart. Now, various people have various solutions. I've seen some fellows put glue on there. Some guys use a little bit of grease, wherever my grease is. There it is. Some guys use a little bit of grease like this to help hold it in place, just to give it some encouragement. But I use just a pair of needle nose pliers and I drop it back in, just because I have never had the inclination to glue it in place. So we're going to drop this back on here, line everything up. And one thing that I also notice happens frequently is the safety gets in the way. So I'm just going to use the file here because it's a little fine thing and drop it on there. Gently press it back together. And we are in business. Put our body screws back in. And it's worth noting that this was a lot easier when I left the barrel in as opposed to when I have done them and I take the barrel out. So if you are doing this for yourself, it's an idea. Leave the barrel in as well as do the reversed screw trick here in the middle, and it seems to hold everything in quite well. Okay, we are back here. Now we're going to put in our remote line adapter. Goes in there quite easily. Catches the threads, feel it turning. We're just going to use our wrench to give it a little bit more. Twist it the right way. There we are, and perfect. Now, you need to leave a empty 12 gram in the 12 gram chamber, because while this back here is a one-way valve and air can only go in, the puncture valve here that pierces the CO2 cans is a two-way, so that air can flow in as well as out. So you need this here to block it from just blasting out here. And there you have it. That is the install in a Tippmann TiPX.